Hi everyone, we are going to be doing a demonstration today on the Inline portable Dehorner and disbudder. We are going to be doing some very cute Nigerian dwarf babies today. I've had a lot of requests on doing a video on this disbudder because there is none yet. And it's a really awesome little tool. I really like it, much better than the Reinhardt X30 with a 1/2 inch tip. You can see how thin this one is compared to this one here. It's much faster, much cleaner, less painful for your animal, and I find it much better when it comes to butt kids and not creating scurs. So today I'm just going to go over a little bit about this. It's a gas powered with quick ignition and fast heating. It's heavy duty construction, economical operation, safe and totally enclosed heat source. Comes with the fuel cartridge. Comes with a 3/4 inch tip, which is suitable for calves and goats. There are additional tip sizes available for goats if you want a different tip. And we are going to be firing this bad boy up. But first, I kind of wanted to go over a few things that you're going to need. I'm going to post a photo, but I just want to go over that the first thing I do is I shave their heads with a tip. We do that because when we bring in our disbudding, it's going to smoke up quite a bit and can burn your eyes. Then we are going to clean with an alcohol prep pad. I do this to help kill bacteria on the surface of the skin, just so we're not incorporating anything into that open wound. I have never had an infection from a disbudding, and it's probably because I always use alcohol. Glasses or goggles, because the smoke, like I said, will come up and burn your eyes. And a pair of gloves so you don't burn your hands. I always have some paper towels on hand in case I get a bleeder and need to clean something off before I go back in to cauterize. I do not use a disbudding box. I take a little towel and I wrap my baby in it, tuck the 2 front legs under, tuck the back legs underneath of them, and then I pin them down. That holding the head and having a table waistline is a much easier and safer option for me. I have tried disbudding boxes, and my Nigis are just so little that I haven't really found or built one that I liked. If you're using a disbudder box, by all means, if that's the way you're comfortable doing it, go ahead and use. But for me, I recommend this method. Next thing to have on hand is some bloodstop powder. You can use any brand that you like or you're comfortable with. I prefer this one over this one. I find that this is just too thick and works better for larger animals. This is more of a fine powder. You just want to make sure you're not inhaling this or getting it in your animal's eyes. Next thing that you're going to need for after we're done is Blue Coat or Alu Shield. There's been a lot of controversy recently over Blue Coat because it is proven in other countries to cause cancer and has been pulled from the markets. People do a combination of the both, so they'll do Blue Coat first and then Alu Shield after. A lot of us just use the Alu Shield alone. This is like an aerosol bandage, so it actually seals the area and keeps bacteria out, whereas this is just more of a fungal and, wound dressing, so it's not going to seal that area away from flies and stuff, which is important if you're doing it in the spring or summer. One thing to note also about the Alu Shield is if you spray it on too early and that head disbudding area is still very hot or warm, this will bubble and pop up and splash actually onto your face and clothing. So you just want to make sure that you wait a tiny bit before applying this. But this does actually help cool down the area. Since it's a hydrosol, it goes on really cold. Just make sure you give it a good shake first. Okay guys, sorry about that. I didn't realize we were in time lapse on that butt kid video, but we do have some doe kids we're gonna do. But I just wanted to explain real quick, since it was speed lapse, it was speeded up, you couldn't hear anything I was saying. With this disbudder, you literally have it on like 5 quick seconds. And when I say 5 seconds, I do not mean 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. I literally mean 1 2 3 4 5 off. Do that 5 seconds, 1 2 3 4 5 up. You'll see the nice ring all the way down to the skull. You won't see a ring, you'll just see the white of the skull down there. And then the second pass, I'll go again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll scrape from one of the sides to pop that cap off, and then the whole skull will be revealed. It's very important that you do not leave a disbudder on the kid's head once you're down to the skull for any more than 10 seconds. So you risk brain injury, you risk that eye swelling up and fluid-filled eyes. So you wanna really make sure that iron is only on there minimal amount of time possible. In this last video, the butt kid had a bleeder on one side. So I did have to go in again to cauterize, but it was literally 1 second and off. Looked at it, it was good. Started bleeding a tiny bit more, 1 second off. And it was just the skin around the edge where I pulled the cap off that had a little tear. That's why he was bleeding. It was nothing from the actual disbudding on the skull area. Now I do also, once that cap comes off, I lay this sideways and I burn that little tip coming from the skull. I burn it flat for like 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, off. And that's important for not creating scurs. Now when we do that second burn, I also repeat twice. 1 5 second, another 5 seconds, remove the cap, and then sear the side. Now when you're putting this at an angle, it's very easy to hit the top of the eye, to hit the top of the ear area once you're laying this flat. So you kind of want to keep it up at an angle like this. So you're just tapping the area you need. If you lay it too flat, you're going to end up burning other areas of the animal and charring his skin, or even worse. This can give really bad 3rd-degree burns, so we don't get anything but the horn buds, so just be really careful with that. Okay, since we missed it in the last video, we're getting ready to do our little dough kits here, and I'm going to show you how to turn this on. So you're basically, there's a plus and a minus. You're going to turn it towards the plus all the way up. Doesn't have to be all the way up. That's where I keep it to heat it. Boom, you're going to hear that flame come on. You can turn it down a tiny bit or leave it full blast for a few minutes. That's what I do to make sure it gets really, really hot. When you're at that hot temperature, you could turn it down a notch or leave it full blast, depending on how your burn mark is into your wood. While that's heating up, I'll show you the demonstration of the wood here. And like I said in the video, which you probably missed, I have a Reinhardt X30 here, and this is what I've used for many, many years, but I wanted to show you the difference in burn marks. This here is the Reinhardt. See how much that bad boy slopes? And you could see the size difference of the diameter of that burn versus our Express Dehorner over here. It's a much thinner line, and it's actually a little bit smaller surface area that actually gets burned on your animal as well, which I like. But this is the reason why it's less painful and it's faster. Thinner diameter gets down to where it needs to be a bit quicker than something a little bit thicker diameter. So this is just the differences in burn areas that I wanted to show you. Something else I wanted to go over is that since this does have a thicker burn diameter, I always keep this heated when I'm working with the gas one, just as a backup. I find that this works really well when I have to cauterize something, or if that one, for instance, runs out of gas midway through disbudding some kids, I don't have to stop where I am and torture the kid. I can just use this one as a backup if I need to. That never has happened. It's just something precautionary that I like to do. So this is heating up nicely here. And like I said, I've only used this. It works pretty darn good. But I just like to have my Reinhardt plugged in case I have anything that I need to back up with. Okay, we have our baby here. This was actually a premature baby. He was 6 days premature. So he's at 10 days. I did want to wait just a little bit longer on him since he was a preemie. You can feel his horn buds coming up right now pretty good, actually. So I just wanted to let you know that they do scream. Most of them scream more about being wrapped up and pinned down than actual pain. I'm gonna go over the controversy of disbudding and why we disbud, and you know, a lot of people probably will comment it's cruel, but we have show goats, so in order to show them, we have to disbud them. I'm very comfortable doing it. Doesn't creep me out just because I've been doing it over 20 years. But yeah, they're gonna scream. It's not because they're in pain or they're suffering. It's just because they're uncomfortable and don't want to do something that you're telling them to do. Go ahead and shave his head. And now he's a buck kid, so we want to shave down this front area as well. So yeah, I've just placed my finger over his nose just to help secure him. Just like that. You see those horn buds? Probably could stick a little more off there. He's a pretty sweet kid, so he's not giving me too much of a fuss. Then we're gonna just get our alcohol wipe and we're gonna cleanse each area. So I like to use one, and then I'll go back in with the second. And you can see how much dirt comes off. Now with this alcohol prep pad, you wanna make sure that this dries before you come in with your disbutter, because if you do not, his head will catch fire. The alcohol burns really easily because the disbutter is so hot. So I just wanted to show you on a buck kid. We're gonna do a figure 8 burn on buck kids. So we're gonna, first burn will be right here where the horn buds are. And our second burn will be like in this V shape here about 11 o'clock. They have these bars that run down. And if we do not do a figure 8 burn, he will have scurs. All bucks will have scurs if you do not do that figure 8 burn. So I guess that whole video was in time lapse and I didn't realize it. But here he is after with Mama, playing and acting normal. I just had some milk. Now, some babies may scratch at it. That's normal, but that's where bleeding can come in. So the skin around is very loose, and if they bring up their back leg and start scratching at it, they will make a separation of that skin where we just disbudded. And that's what causes the bleeding. So that's the only time I use the bleed stop powder. And if there is no bleeding, then there's no cause for the blood stop powder. See, now he's trying to go in and scratch at it. So in that case, I'll just offer him to the teat again and stay here and watch for a bit. Most of them will go lay down and sleep or just play. But that's what you have to watch out for if they start scratching at it. And it's not because it's painful, it is an irritation. And that outer skin is usually what is the irritation. It's not actually the part where it got disbudded, because the nerves have been severed and there's no pain there anymore. Hey, Mama. Okay, we have our little doe here. We got a screamer. This is a little bit wild baby here. We're gonna go ahead and shave her head. These babies are a week old. This is a little doe. And we're gonna go in with our alcohol wipe, and we're gonna just clean her head really well. This helps get rid of any bacteria off the skin and around the area As you know, the disbudding is very hot and it's gonna kill a lot of bacteria as well, but you do get some dirt off of there. Then I go in with the second one just to make sure it's really nice and clean. And she has some silver on her head from her sisters who I just got done doing. So we're gonna put on our gloves and we're gonna wrap her up. I just wanna note that you wanna make sure that that top of that head is nice and dry. Do not put a hot disbudding tool on top of a wet alcohol head or you will get flames. Alcohol is very flammable. So then we're just gonna wrap her up, tuck the tube free under, bring your towel around. You're gonna tuck her bottom feet up under her. You're gonna tuck her bottom feet up under her. And she's a fighter. So they mainly scream because they don't like to be pinned down, held down, all of the above. I like to start on the right side, so you'll see me put these fingers over her nose. And I'm not pressing her too hard, just firm and secure. I'm gonna tuck this ear out of the way. And we're gonna go down for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. With firm pressure. As you can see there, you can see down to the skull, that whiteness. That's what you wanna see. I go and do the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. We're gonna rewrap her. Now when you're holding him down, you wanna make sure not to move the skin too much or pull on it because that what creates a tear and can make them bleed. So you wanna be very gentle with this. Now the second pass, I'm gonna try to pop her cap off as well. So you'll see me take it a couple ways. She's a fighter, guys. Little Miss Attitude. So we got it. Go back in and tap that where you pull the cap off. Sometimes it likes to just bleed a tiny bit there. So we'll just go back in. We want to get that little point of that horn for a few seconds. Then we'll go back in for 1 or 2 seconds just to tap it. I really wanted to show you on the calmer babies, but it's good to see a wild one too. We're gonna go in there, get that cap off. See how it's hanging from just the edge? So we'll just go back in 1 second, pull it off, lay it flat on there, get around the edge, and that's it. So she's mainly screaming because she doesn't like to be held down, guys. It's not hurting her. The nerves are long dead and numb. So we're just gonna dry it off a tiny bit. Make sure we don't have any bleeders. And a little fluid, that's normal. I don't like that skin hanging, so I'm gonna just tap that and dab it off. So if you have to go back in and tap something, that's okay. Oh, sorry, I had your foot, sorry. Watch their back feet, guys. So then we're gonna go in there, just take a look a few seconds, make sure she's not bleeding. When you're happy with it, go ahead and apply your blue coat or your Alu Shield. Today, I'm gonna spray a little blue coat first. Just one little tap. Then I go in with my clean paper towel here. We don't want too much excess if we're gonna go in there right behind with the Alu Shield, which is actually gonna seal it up. And blue coat is kind of controversial, okay? There's the inside of the cap. Some countries have pulled it off the market for causing cancers. So wear gloves. Don't be like me doing it out here with no gloves on if you're gonna use it. It is a great medication. It does work great for a lot of things. And then I'm gonna follow up with Alu Shield. Give it a shake. Once again, we're gonna cover their eyes. About 2 or 3 sprays on each side. You could see that bubble up a little just from residual heat. And that's it. She's done and ready to go back to mama. I do wait a few seconds just so this dries, because when she goes into nurse, she'll get it all over mama. She'll get it all over everyone. So that's it.